money will come, they do it because they love it. This for my niggas who's tired of being tired. Never take a seat, stand up like Richard Pryor. Always trying to reach everything they desire. I'm just trying to preach that you can take it higher. I said I feel like I'm the greatest. I said I feel like I'm the greatest. I'ma be here when my time is up. I said I feel like I'm the greatest. One day you'll know the time comes close. One day.
Hey, haha, ho, ho, what's happening? It's 2016. It's time for the weekly webinar Wednesday. Dude, I'm ready to have a massive year. Are you? What about you? What about your family, man? Is your family ready to have a big year? Dude, I know I want to blow up this year, and I know that I got to get my skill right, my head right. I got to get my body type, got to get my fitness thing on. Dude, I gotta get my skills right. I gotta be able to develop the skills that are gonna carry you into success in 2016. And that's what Cardone University is all about. So if you're watching this webinar, dude, you have access to the most comprehensive sales tool on the planet, all right? From the top guy, from a guy who's done it, from a guy who's come from nothing and built something massive, okay? And today I wanna talk to you about what you can do in our system to maximize the most important thing that a salesperson can maximize, dude, their ability to follow up. Follow up, when I talk to business owners, right, specifically the guys making the decision, making the big money, dude, when I talk to business owners, the number one thing I hear, my people need help following up, man. They're not creative. They're not persistent. They call somebody once and they hang up. So in today's webinar, I'm gonna go over some mistakes that people make in follow-up, okay? More importantly, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do in order to be successful using the Cardone University system. We've got it all mapped out for you, okay? For those of you who may not have access to the program, have you ever ran out of stuff to say? Have you ever had a customer that you've been following up with and you don't know what to say anymore? You run out of stuff to say. You're doing the broken record follow-up strategy. Hey, this is Jarrod. Are you ready to do the deal? Hey, this is Jarrod. Are you ready to do the deal? Hey, this is Jarrod. Are you ready to do the deal? Dude, come on, man. Stop kidding yourself. How many times you want to make that call? I know I don't want to make that call, and if I don't want to make the call, the customer definitely doesn't want to hear the call. So what we're going to cover today is we're going to cover 3 things that you can do in your follow-up, okay, in your follow-up so that you can maximize. You can actually get the customer to call you back and do the deal. So before I get into what you can do, I want to start. So if you guys have questions, you can go to cardoneuniversity.com/live, which is where you should be watching this. In the right-hand side, there's a chat link. Okay, there's a chat link. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me there. The last 2 months, we've been running a promotion on our Cardone University platform, and I got to tell you, the success stories are starting to come in now. We have people that are literally hitting their best months ever, less than 30 days on the program. Less than 30 days on the program, they got in, they got strategies, they developed the consistency, they developed discipline with the way that they're training. I mean, that's what we're talking about here, right? You serious about making money? You ready to take your game to another level? You got to take your training to another level. So that's what Cardone University is all about. And dude, we got people, we are live right now. I got Wasim live. I got Dickie Armour. I got Rick. I got Coach Kieran. Dude, y'all ready for this? We talking follow-up today in Cardone University. So look, number one mistake that you make with follow-up is you don't understand the math. What do I mean by that? Dude, the math. Do you know how many times you got to call somebody to actually get them to respond? Do you know the math? 80% of every transaction, B2B transaction, will take place between the 8th and the 12th follow-up attempt. 44% of salespeople never make one call. They hit your website, you don't call them. Okay? 13% of salespeople make 2 calls. Dude, you got to know the math. If you're making 1 or 2 or 3 follow-up calls and you think you're going to do anything, you're wrong. If follow-up isn't working for you, if it's tough for you, dude, everything that I don't like doing usually are things that I'm not good at, right? I mean, I take people out that play golf, right? I love playing golf. I'm great at golf. Take people out on the golf course to play golf. They suck at golf. They don't want to come back unless they like drinking beer, you know, which some people do. So they come back for that. But they definitely don't come back to play golf because they're throwing their clubs, they're cursing, you know, they're having a miserable time, all right? Dude, anything that you suck at, you're not going to enjoy, right? So let's figure out this math equation, right? So that we can get you skilled up so that you can actually be successful. But it starts with understanding the math so that you know how many times you actually have to pick up the phone and make the call in order to get the result. So number one, you got to understand the math. Number two, frequency, man. Frequency. All right? Dude, how often are you calling? You calling somebody once on Monday after they hit your site? You calling them once on Friday? Hey, you ready to do the deal yet? Trying to get caught up with you, right? Dude, how often are you calling? Dude, you got to hammer people. If you're going to make 5 follow-up calls to somebody, it's better to make 5 calls in 2 days than it is to make 5 calls over 5 weeks. Why is that? Dude, look, open your inbox, dude. Open your inbox. Open your inbox and look at how many emails you got. I know, dude, when I open my email at the beginning of every day, loaded. Facebook messages, loaded. Tweets, loaded. Everything's loaded. Dude, I spend the first 2 hours of my day just getting unburied. I can't think about anything, let alone the guy who calls me once who's trying to sell me something, or the gal, right? So, dude, you got to understand the frequency. You got to cut through the noise. If I'm getting hit with 100 emails every day, how am I going to remember yours? How are you going to be different? Dude, you're going to be different because you're freaking beating the door down all the time. 10 a.m., noon, 4 p.m., next day, 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 6 p.m. You call in all different times of the day and you just collapse the amount of time so that people feel it. And look, you got to have a plan to get, like we said in the previous point, you got to have a plan to get to 5, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 contacts. I've called people for 2 years before I did a deal with them. Call them. Finally, they never heard anything back. Finally, they call up. Ready to do the deal, man. I'm like, dude, we could have fixed this a long time ago. So you got to stay in front of people. You got to cut through the noise. And the number 3 mistake that you make, speed. Speed is power. Okay? The longer you wait, the lower the closing ratio on the deal is. When somebody hits your site and they want information, the longer you wait until you call them, the less likely you are to be able to get them back on the phone to even have a qualifying conversation. Meaning just asking them some questions, right? What's what? What's your deal? How can we help you? What are your big problems? Okay? So, dude, those are the 3 big mistakes that people make with follow-up. They don't understand the math, meaning how much work it actually takes to get somebody to pick up. Number 2, they have their frequency off. Some people call it cadence. I think that's a new word that they're using. It's called cadence. You know, the rhythm, the rhythm of the, the rhythm of the follow-up. Ooh, that kind of looks kind of cool on the screen there. So look, hey, we got some people on the chat here. I just want to give a quick shout out to. If you guys have any questions, you can call in. It's 305-865-8668. That's 305-865-8668. I got Tax Twerk from the UK. What's going on? Travis Sent. What's happening, man? I appreciate it. Appreciate you having you having the time to come on today. Hi, all. Can anyone tell me where these are recorded and accessible in the university? Rick, you should have a folder in your training center that says support webinars. If you have a problem, you can email Wayne at grantcardone.com. It's Wayne with 2 N's, WAYNNE at grantcardone.com. Wasim, we are live. Dickie, what's going on? Rick, Coach Kieran, y'all ready for this? What? Gazmac, JR, hello from Chile. Jim Powell, Jay Sentry. Dude, everybody's here and ready to get the follow-up game on. So I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do to be more effective with your follow-up today. We talked about the 3 mistakes. Do you remember what they were? Do you remember what they were? Number 1, math. You got to know the math. Number 2, frequency. How often? Okay. And number 3, speed, man. How quick are you getting back to people? Most people that fail with follow-up have the wrong expectations of what it's going to take. That's pretty much it. You just have the wrong expectation of what work it's going to require. Most people have the wrong expectations with follow-up calls too, with the outbound reach. Okay, so you have an underestimation of effort on how many calls it takes to get to somebody in the first place. Then you have an underestimation of how much work it's going to take to get them back on the phone after you talk to them or after they have an initial reach. Like, dude, you got bad math over here, and you expecting to get a deal in the middle. It ain't going to happen. All right. So look, these webinars are about getting your mind right about what it takes to be successful working on the phone, okay? Working follow-up calls, prospecting, okay? Getting people to come in or come back to see you after they've left. Getting somebody to call you back after you've already made a presentation and they're 3,000 miles away from you. Dude, that's what these webinars are all about, how to use this tool. We have a follow-up course in the training center where we map all of this out. Okay, all of this, strategies, mistakes, creative tips that you can use, vehicles, do you use phone, do you use video, do you use text, all right? How many different ways are you penetrating the customer? When you call, are you leaving a voicemail, right? Dude, you always got to leave a voicemail. And you always have to send an email. You always need to do 2 forms of communication, all right? Now these are things that we've tried and tested on the front lines in our business for years. And we put them all together and packaged them up in our follow-up training for this course here. There's also a follow-up tool, an interactive follow-up tool where we map out 365 days of follow-up. So we tell you exactly what to do on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 7, day 9, day 14, day 15, all right? The math doesn't need to be done. You don't need to add anything. We've already laid it out for you. Vincent St. Louis, thanks for jumping on. So look, we're talking about follow-up. What do you need to know to be successful? Number 1 thing is you must be creative, all right? The broken record follow-up strategy will fail you every single time. And not just because the customer doesn't want to hear the call, it's because you don't want to say the same thing. How long is it going to take for you to lose interest if you're saying the same thing every time you call? Be real, right? Like eventually at some point you're like, I've been banging my head up against the wall and nothing's happening. My head kind of hurts. I think I'm going to stop. You got to get creative. Okay? So like one of the things that we do to be creative is we have like articles and links and blogs, and I mean we do video, we do text, we do meme pictures. I mean like everything that we send in follow-up is like, they're like, man, that was creative. I've never seen that before. There's no other salesperson following up with me like that. Creativity is important because creativity is memorable. People remember creativity. An email, a templated email, standard follow-up call, boring voicemail. Dude, I'll tell you a story. So we've done some pretty funny voicemails before. Like we got a recording of a cricket. And so we'll call somebody. We've been following up. We haven't been able to get through yet. We play the video on like YouTube. You just go sounds of crickets, you know. And you call them, voicemail comes on, you start playing the crickets. Whatever the sound those crickets make, you know, I don't know if was that a good impression? No, it sucked? Okay. So dude, you play the crickets thing and you're like, John, it's Jarrod, Grant Cardone's office. Yeah, these crickets are the only ones I'm hearing, man. You know why I'm hearing these crickets? Because I'm not hearing you calling me back. Hey man, I want to show you how we can increase your business 30% in the next 45 days. On a separate note, I'm shooting you over a link to a great article that relates to specifically in your business, which you demonstrated you had an interest in. I think will solve your problem. And if you'd like me to run for me to run a sales meeting for you, I'd be happy to do it any day of the week, 7 days a week, any time of day. You just pick up the phone and call me because first and foremost, we're here to help you. This is Jarrod from Grant Cardone's office. Drop the number, boom, click, you're out. Dude, it's different. Okay, it's different. Most people listen. I mean, I know I listen to the first probably, 10 seconds of voicemail. Click, delete. It's got to be interesting. You got to get the hooks in quick. So that's just an example of being creative. We played sounds of a train, you know, choo choo, choo 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 choo. Dude, the money train's coming by. You gonna jump on? This is Jarrod from Grant Cardone's office. In case you lost my phone number, call me back. It's 858-342-6677, 55224433, whatever. All right. So look, you got to be creative with how you're following up with people because it'll be fun. Dude, we leave voicemails at the end. We're laughing because we're having fun. I had a client who let me follow up with him for 2 months extra, okay? Because every time in his morning sales meeting, he would play my follow-up for the rest of his team. He'd be like, man, I was ready to do a deal with you 2 months ago, but honestly, my meetings were so good because you kept calling, leaving these hilarious voicemails and sending me these ridiculous emails. I just had to share them with everybody and be like, that's what we should be doing. You need to be creative. You need to be memorable, all right? Number 2, you've got to be persistent. This is the non-negotiable. Like you have to crawl up inside somebody until they either buy from you or they hate you. I mean, they got to feel you, right? And we do this all the time. You know, people call us all the time, stop calling me, don't ever call me again. Believe me, folks, that says more about them than it does about you. The reason they're telling that to you is because they want their people to do exactly what you're doing and they can't make it happen. Okay? So anytime somebody freaks out at you and they hang up on you, just get a smile on your face and know that you're doing the right thing. You're doing the thing that he's upset or she's upset that they can't get their people to do. All right? So you got to be persistent to the point where you're willing to push somebody to the edge. Okay? No, persistent follow-up. Dude, I would rather lose a deal because I followed up too much than because I didn't follow up enough. And I believe most salespeople out there are the same. Most managers out there, I'm sure, would prefer that they missed deals because their people followed up too much rather than not enough. Because I know that more often than not, salespeople don't follow up enough, and that's why they miss deals. At least take control of it, right? At least have the ability to say, hey, you know what? I torched that deal because I covered that guy up. All right? That deal is not going to happen because I followed up so aggressively, dude, that they blocked my number and threatened to call the police on me. And then I called them from my cell phone number. And then I called them from the payphone outside, right? I got creative. I covered them up, okay? I'd rather that happen 7 days a week than call them once and the guy has to call Grant or tweet Grant and say, hey, your people never followed up with me, would never do business with you. Think about it, right? Number three, it's got to be service-based. Okay, we're talking about things that you can do to be more creative with follow-up, all right? It has to be service-based, especially on cold calls, okay? You're reaching out cold call, cold email, cold follow-up. You haven't had a qualifying conversation with somebody yet. Dude, you have to be service-based. You have to bring something of value to the interaction. To where if they got nothing else from you when they hang up that phone or when they delete that email, dude, they know that you were reaching with something to help. If you help somebody enough, they're going to want to reciprocate. Give to get. Okay? Give. That give saying. We talk about that a lot in the platform too. So look, I want to pop down here to some questions we have here. Let's see. Keeler, BP1. I apologize for the question being unrelated to the follow-up topic. But it's a predecessor to follow-up. I'm an entrepreneur with a great company. The problem is sales. I know I don't have 100% belief in the products, otherwise I'd be selling like crazy. I think the products are top-notch, but I haven't had life-changing experiences with them yet. How can I create more belief? Dude, the first sale that you have to make always is in you, in your product, in your company, or your service, or whatever you're representing. So you need to find the things about your product that you can get behind, right? What other products are out there? Why are you better? Why should somebody pay more for your product than theirs? A company that has a higher quality product, they have more customers, they have better customer service. How are you gonna overcome those three things? What is different about your product? You are always the unique addition to the equation, right? Rob's got a product, great company, great reputation. I got an average product, company average reputation. Dude, the company's reputation doesn't represent me. Dude, people are buying you, not your product, brother. You got to get sold on you to the point where you could convince anybody. I don't care what you saw on the internet or Google or Yelp or on my website versus their website or however much they're spending on TV versus however you can barely afford to send an email campaign, okay? It doesn't matter. They're buying you. And if you can convince somebody to do business with you, the product doesn't matter. Hope that answered your question. Esteban Mendez, I have a problem. People call me, I qualify them, give them a quote, and then I don't hear from them again. So you're saying keep following up? Yeah, man, I'm saying keep following up. Yeah. I mean, you got to try to close the deal on the call. People call you, they want a quote. Okay, thanks so much for your time. Hey, look, I understand you want to get off the phone right now, but I just want to ask you one question. I've been in your situation before where I called to get a quote of information on something, and I hadn't heard what I needed to hear to do the deal yet. What hadn't you heard to make sure that this is the right deal for you? Just ask him. Everything's good, everything's all good. Dude, if everything were all good right now, you'd be hooking up with me because I offered you the perfect thing. So what's not right? Is it the payment? Is it the terms? Is it the price? Is it the service? Is it the offering? What isn't right about the deal? Try to find something out, dude. And if they tell you, then you know. If they hang up on you, dude, you gotta freaking beat the door down. How many follow-up calls are you making? That's probably a better question. And then I don't hear from them. Dude, they ain't gonna call you back. It's not their job to call you back. Who's selling who? Do you want them to have control over your paycheck, or do you want to have control over your paycheck? It's up to you, brother. You gotta take more control. That's what I'm picking up from this message here. Maybe use follow-up. Maybe use follow-up like you would use a newsletter. Just drop a call to let them know something has changed. Yeah, and you got to call back and have something new every time you call. You know, whether it's a newsletter, whether it's, hey, I was watching the news this morning and, I saw X, Y, and Z, or I heard the stock market, this happened today. Valiant's down this much money. Chipotle lost their PR firm, whatever. I know that affects your business, blah, blah, blah. Here's the link. Just thought so be service-based. I like that, Rick. Someone's got to die to make me stop calling. That's truth, right? Love Cardone University. Mindy Rosen, love Cardone University. On it since last Friday. Made my money back in 2 days. Y'all hear that? Come on now. Mindy, I love that. I love hearing people winning with the program. Look, we love sharing success stories, right? If you want to get a little freaking napalm on your social, dude, start posting your success stories with Cardone University. I guarantee you we'll share them. Dude, we want everybody knowing about that. We want to know about that. The success stories are more for us than they are for the public, right? Because we do a lot of work in this office. It's not all fun and games. The TV shows, the Facebook, the social, all that stuff. Dude, we do hard work every day. We're cold calling every day. It's rough, man. It's rough. So when we hear people out there like Mindy who have the program and they make their money back in 2 days on a 12-month program, dude, the sky is the limit. Mindy, thanks so much for sharing that. Hunter Mitchell, how do you get past the feeling like you're disturbing people, or do you just ignore it and keep calling? Well, if you truly believe in your product, if you believe you can improve somebody's situation, you're not bothering them. And then you just got to confront that uncomfortable point in the deal where you're like, man, where am I at? If you believe that your product or your service will improve their situation, they don't know that yet. They don't know everything about your company that you do. They haven't seen the success stories, right? Dude, you got if everybody knew, if every client that we called knew that their investment could be paid for in 2 days when they bought our program, they could be paid back on their full investment in 2 days, how many people do you think would buy? You pay me $1,000 for 12 months of access or $13,000 for 12 months of access, and I guarantee you'll make your money back in 2 days. Dude, if everybody knew that, for sure they would buy. The problem is your customer doesn't know that. It's your job to make sure that they understand that. And your conviction and your push and your persistence is the only way that they know that they're like, wow, this guy's for real. The masses of salespeople quit. They don't push. They're not willing to get uncomfortable. All right? So if you want to be different, you got to go there. Just added 20 users to our platform on Cardone U this week and recommitted for 42 more months. Nathan Walker, I believe that's Energy Comfort Systems, if I'm right. Dude, yeah, I think that is. Energy Comfort Systems, great company. Check them out. You can Google them. They're a great example of a company that's highly committed to training, highly committed to success for their employees. You got owners paying for the program for their people and not asking a penny from them. Why? Because they want their people to do well. So dude, look, if you want this thing to work, if you want follow-up to work, if you want Cardone University to work, you got to get in there and you got to beat the thing to death. You got to have the discipline. You got to have the discipline to develop the mindset so that you can understand how to apply the skill. You can't learn how to apply the skill unless you have the discipline to get into the gym every day. Okay? And once you get in the gym every day, then you start getting the mindset like, dude, I'm a beast. I'm an athlete. I can go out and do anything. Then you go out and you're like, okay, I can go out on the field and learn how to run the route the right way because I've done the fundamental groundwork. So for everybody using this program, if you're not using it every day, you're not using it enough. You have to infiltrate your mind and the way you think with this material here. Because if you're a professional on the front lines, do you want to be third rung infantry or do you want to be a freaking Navy SEAL? The only difference between the two is training. Right? They invest $1 million developing a SEAL. You want to be a professional salesperson, make $1 million a year? I promise you're going to have to invest in yourself. You're going to have to build the discipline to get in and do the hard work. You're going to have to get in and wake up at 5:30 in the morning and start studying to start your day off right. You're going to have to go back and write your goals throughout the day so you stay fired up and motivated when you have some asshole customer that cussed you out and hung up on you, and the deal you'd been working for 3 months goes backwards. right, dude? You got to freaking be able to know, hey, I'm a pro. I get down, write my goals right now so I can get refocused on my purpose and what's big and why I'm really here. We ain't here to sell training. We're here to work for our goals and dreams, helping people like you get what they want out of life, okay? That's the real thing. Get connected with your goals and then train throughout the day, man. Train at the end of the day. Start your day off right, train, end your day off right, train. Start your day off right, write your goals, end your day off right, write your goals, you know? How committed are you to making this thing work? How committed are you to getting in here and devouring this material? Not just once, but every single day, because that's what makes the difference. And if you want to be a pro at follow-up, where are we at here? Follow-up, 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 follow-up. Boom. Follow-up, right? Dude, you got to get in there every single day. If that's a weakness for you, if that's a weak spot for you, if it's a big opportunity for you, if you know you miss deals because you're not following up, dude, you got to go in there, take notes, be real, right? Be serious. Don't watch the content, right? Learn something. Take notes. There's a sidebar where you can type notes. Get a notepad out. Write your notes out, okay? Practice the strategies. Take the time to build a collateral sheet where supporting documentation resource guide, if you want to call it that, where you go through and find out everything positive that could help a client that you're targeting. Let me expand on that. What I mean by that. Let's say I have a company and they sell toilet seats. We actually just did a deal with a company. They sell luxury toilet seats. I think they're in the UK. I don't think it wipes for you, but I think it's really comfy is what it is. Maybe armrests or something, some speakers, air-conditioned seat. I'm not really sure, but it sounds awesome, okay? So look, we sign up this company, they sell toilet seats, right? So they're a sales organization. When I'm prospecting, I'm going after them, I'm following up, trying to get this deal, anything that can help their sales team. That's the most important thing to them, that they're selling toilets, right? They got to get the unit out the door into people's hands. So they want to sell their stuff. So what am I going to do? I'm going to come up with a guide, a resource guide of everything relating to improving sales, improving attitude, improving motivation, improving operational efficiency, how economics in XYZ market are affecting sales organizations, right? You want to become an expert, okay? And if you're not willing to make the investment, your follow-up isn't going to be valuable. And if it's not valuable, people aren't going to see value in it, right? Motivation is about motivation, all right? So look, we're talking about follow-up. 3 mistakes. You got to know the math. 8 to 12 attempts. At least plan for 12. If you can't get to 12, you won't get the deal. Number 2, frequency. You got to freaking beat them every single day like a drum. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon, as many times as possible until they say, okay, what do you got? Or fall off the face of the earth. You're like, okay, but when I come back around, I'm going to call you again, okay? So frequency, speed, dude, you got to make the call quick and fast. Somebody says, hey, I'm interested, you got to be all over them. Speed is power. This is the information age. There's information all over the place. People getting hit from every which way possible. Dude, they don't even know which way's up, right? I look at the stock market 1 second, it's up 100 points. Next second, it's down 350. What a little period of time elapsed. What changed, right? Dude, time is just, it's fast now. It's happening fast. And you need to be fast too. That's how people are used to getting things. If I want to Google something, it takes me 2 seconds to figure out what I want. Guess speed is power, dude. If you don't have speed, you're going to miss the deal. If you don't have urgency, they're not going to think that you guys are a for real deal in your company. Okay? So what can you do to be more successful in your follow-up? Number 1, you have to be the most creative person on the face of the earth. Creativity will generate interest. I guarantee it. Number 2, you have to be persistent. So persistent that somebody's like, wow, man, this guy really believes in my product because I haven't called him back for 2.5 weeks. He ain't going to let me off the hook. I better call him back. Number 3, you got to be service-based. Don't call ever and leave a voicemail that you want to pitch somebody a product. That is the worst voicemail you could ever leave, because I'm going to make my decision on whether or not I want to talk to you based on your voicemail, and you're never going to hear from me again. When I see your number coming in, I'm going to put that on block, and you ain't getting through anymore, okay? So be service-based. This is Jarrod from Grant's office. I'd love to run a sales meeting for your team. It's 2016, beginning of a new year. You pick the topic, I'll deliver the meeting. I'm going to blow your people away. You're probably going to get some deals you wouldn't have got because of the meeting I deliver, and I'm not going to charge you for it. I don't want any piece of that. I just want to help you. Truth is, if you like what I do, if you like what I say, I'm able to help you and your people, there's a chance you might want to hear about what I do for a living. Got it? All right, guys, this was the Wednesday webinar. This is about follow-up. The most important skill you can learn as a salesperson is follow-up. The most important skill you can learn as a salesperson is cold calling. The most important skill you can learn as a salesperson is negotiating, closing, being motivated, understanding the buyer, the basics. Dude, it's all the most important thing, all right? That's why all these boxes are laid out in the platform for you to access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you have questions, call the office, 310-777-0255. 310-777-0255. Let me see here. EnergyComfortSystems.com. Dickie Armour. Hey, I got the Cardone University after the 10X webinar. It rocks. Learned so much and love the fact that I get to access the videos of the weekend retreats. Awesome. Let's see, who else do we got here? Wasim, what's going on, man? I want to follow up with you about an opportunity to make this 2016 special. I used Cardone University as a selling point to close my dream job in a huge company. I believe you would love what I have to say. When are you going to get back to me? I haven't seen an email come from you, man. I started going through the certifications. Awesome, Mindy. Great way to start. Best way to use it. How did you use it day one? 6 segments a day, man. You got to cover yourself up. 2 in the morning, 2 midday, 2 at the end of the day. We all do 6 segments before 9 a.m. Hey, I have a small business and need 8 more users on. Can Grant help with this? Yeah, man, we can help with it. Give me a call. My number is 310-777-0255, Coach. Just call. Angela's going to answer the phone. Let her know that you talked to me on the webinar. You talked to Jarrod, and she'll transfer you through to me. Let's see here. Look into people's butts, not hands. Dude, what are you talking about butts for, man? Dickie Armour, getting crazy. All right, man. Look, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you got something. We'll be back here next month to bring you another webinar on more skills and more strategies that you can take from this platform and apply to your business. Oh, yeah. And if you have a success story, tweet me at Jarrod Glandt. All right? Love to hear about it. We'll see you guys next time.